Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? Upgrade to the home of your dreams with Manny and Courtney from CMK Construction. CMK Construction is Tampa's award-winning kitchen and bath leader for over 20 years. Right now, save $3,000 on a new kitchen and $2,000 on a new bathroom. And take advantage of our no money down and no interest financing until 2026. Imagine, design, build.
Streaming from the Tampa Bay 28 Weather Center in Studio A. This is Denis Phillips Live Plus. Brought to you by CMK Construction, crafting Tampa's most exquisite bathrooms and kitchens.
All right, I was having a hard time getting this on, but nonetheless, hi, I'm Shay Ryan, and I am in for Denis tonight for Denis Phillips Live, as you can tell. Denis, I sent him a message to ask him where he is at tonight so I could let you know, and I haven't heard back from him yet, so I imagine he's probably busy, but oh, and he's along, actually, I just got a message from, it looks like he's at Best of the Bay because someone else I know, Erica Campbell, just sent me a message that she won first place right alongside Denis. And so that's where they're at. They're at Best of the Bay, and it looks like they are just doing great over there. So that is where Denis is at. He will be back at 11 o'clock for the show here on Tampa Bay 28. And I am here to answer whatever questions you've got as best as I can and say hello to those of you who are following along with us on Facebook as well as on air. So we will have to take commercial breaks, obviously, for those of you who have been here many times. You know, in fact, you know better than I do when the breaks are supposed to happen. So I know you'll keep me posted, but I've got them written down as well. Hopefully I'll be able to keep track of everything. I need my glasses to be able to see, so I'm gonna say hello to a few people. So let's see who we have here. We have Sandy Huff. We have Patrick from Palm Coast. I love the Palm Coast, big fan. Let's see, so I'm gonna go back up for a second. Anna Maria, you are from Largo, saying hello again. Good morning, or good afternoon. But wait, good evening. I don't even know what time of day it is yet. Let's see. Kurt, yes, we are keeping the blobs heading east and north in the Atlantic. Sean, hello from Lake Wales. Lynn, hey, from Abaco. Let's see. Pat from Largo. So is that two people from Largo? I think it is. Terry is from Hernando. Hi, James. How's the golf swing? Not so much. I more drive the cart than golf. Olivia is from St. Augustine. You're asking, are we at risk? So St. Augustine, the east side of Florida. All right, there's enough questions about the tropics. Let's talk about the tropics. All right, where are we gonna start? Let's see. I've got it up, I guess, next to me here. Some of it, anyhow. All right, so here we are. Let me put it up full for you. And you can, for some reason, the computer is acting up and it's just not taking the sources very well. I'm sure you've been through this before with Denis. He said you have to sometimes click each of the buttons to make it clear out and go to the next thing. So that's what I was doing. All right, so now you can see here on the tropical, this is the National Hurricane Center's website, that we have our 3 areas that we're watching. Gabrielle, way off into nowhere, no concerns. Umberto just formed earlier today as of 5 o'clock. This is a tropical storm, and it has, about 40-mile-per-hour winds, and I'll show you its path in a moment. This next area right here in the Eastern Caribbean, this one will eventually take the same path as Umberto. It may wiggle around a little bit, but eventually it's going to take the same path as Umberto. So looking at well, that didn't work out very well now, did it? Okay, that was the wrong storm. Something seemed off. Okay, so this should be Umberto. There it is. So you can see how the storm is staying. If you look at the center of the path, it would be just to the east of Bermuda. And I'm going to move over to our graphics, and I'll give you a better forecast here in a moment. Well, actually, we'll start with a really beautiful picture. This is from the Mainsail Beach Inn on Anna Maria Island, and we are seeing a gorgeous sunset out there tonight. So this is just looking great. Now I'll pull up the graphics here. Okay, so now we've got Umberto. You can see where the storm is to the right of San Juan. And then as we look here at its path, it looks like it's going to strengthen, but it'll stay offshore of the islands. And then this next one, you can kind of see how the red in that second system that's going to develop, it stays offshore of Florida. So the question is going to be, as these spaghetti models start to show that second system that's farther to the south, as that system starts developing, it is going to possibly combine or go right behind Umberto. So as that happens, it can churn up the eastern side of the state of Florida. The coastline creates some higher waves, but as far as having a direct impact on you in St. Augustine or anyone else for that matter on the east side of Florida, I would not be overly concerned. More than likely, what will happen as you look even at the models, we'll go back on the other computer here for a moment, is that it's going to pull a lot of the moisture away depending on how far offshore that storm goes. If you take a look here at the timing, so that second storm develops, there it is, you see the low. I'm going to circle it. So this is where that second system is going to likely begin to form, and this is Umberto. So as we go through time, it follows right behind it. And then with the GFS is showing that it is likely going to combine and then move away. Now, when they are closest to the state of Florida, which is about here, all we're seeing is pretty typical rain chances. Now, the wave heights may increase some along the east coast of Florida as a result of Umberto, but not likely that you're going to get anything much as far as winds or rain, maybe some breezy conditions or something along those lines, but nothing that's going to be substantial. And Vanessa, you're asking about Turks and Caicos. I would be more concerned about Turks and Caicos. I would be more concerned about Cuba, the Dominican Republic, just in general, because even before that system forms into a tropical system, it's still just sitting and lingering there a bit, and it's likely to produce some heavy rainfall in that area. And so I would say that there is more of a heavy rainfall risk. And if you take a look at how, if we go back here, This is the GFS. It just sits here for, what is it, about 4 days where you're getting some pretty consistent rain. And so if it does get real heavy, then any of those islands, and here's the other, this is the Euro, and this is showing it a little bit closer to Florida where it doesn't quite combine with Umberto, but stays right on its heels. And so this one, maybe we would get some outer bands of rain, but more than likely it's gonna pull the rain away from it by early next week. So we don't end up, and then it'll combine. So those are the two scenarios right now, the way that it's looking. And granted, things can change, but I have to go to a commercial break now. So we can come back and chat about this more, but let's go to a commercial break. Hopefully that took it. All right, so for those of you here on Facebook, I hope that went to a commercial break. I don't really know if it did or not, to tell you the truth, because I hit the button, but sometimes things confuse me. So, okay, let me, I am scrolling down to see, hi from Susan in Valrico. Jason said he's at Hurricane Hanks on Anna Maria Island. Wendy, hello. Brian, hello. Let's see. Joe from Odessa, nice to see you. Okay, Bud, you are asking about dust. I'm imagining it's Saharan dust, and I know there were lots of people, or at least one person, it might have been you. Someone was asking about the dust, about Saharan dust the last couple of times that I was in here. So I got it prepared this time to chat with you and show you some graphics about that. But I did want to say, I see somebody, Dylan Blake Nichols from Merritt Island. Interesting connection. If we're back from a break now, because I don't have the countdown, I've been talking to our Facebook friends here who are writing in and saying hello, and it looks like some folks from YouTube are also writing in and saying hello. So if you would like to write in, that's what you do. So you can go onto social. Denis has this connected to his social channels, so you can write, and although we can't talk verbally, I can read your notes. And just to say, my grandmother had a house on Merritt Island, and I spent much of my childhood on vacations on Merritt Island and saw it change dramatically from just orange groves to the booming place that it is now, just completely filled with single family homes. But it's just so amazing every time I go back there to see the change, because I grew up just climbing through all the orange groves and swampiness and having a great time and all kinds of adventures as a little kid there. And lots of mosquitoes, of course. Hi from Safety Harbor, Okeechobee. Okay, let's get to the Saharan dust. We'll get that, and then this. Okay, Saharan dust. So, Saharan dust. Oh, you probably want to see the graphic first, right? You want to see where it's at right now. Why didn't I go to that first? So the Saharan dust, as you guys all know, it helps to tamp down hurricane season. It helps to reduce the strength of, or the intensity, the rate at which storms form across the Atlantic. So here we go. This is the Saharan dust where it's at right now, and this is tracking it as we move forward in time. And you can see how it's still pretty thick, coming off the coast of Africa and moving across the Atlantic, and still making it out over the Caribbean even in the next couple of days, which could have an impact. Minimal, I would say, given that it is not a real thick area of Saharan dust, but it could have some impact. So the 2025 hurricane season has certainly been impacted by the Saharan dust, as we have seen so far that there was quite a bit of high dust levels in the beginning of the season, and it really tamped down how much development we had. And when you compare it to other years, you can kind of look back and forth there. And this was an easy search that I found, just putting Google into AI mode and asking it to compare Saharan dust during hurricane seasons to recent years. And it goes through the duration of the hurricane season and its impact, and how the dust, where it is, it helps to limit how much how much development happens. So now we are seeing less than we did earlier in the season, but there's still certainly more than what we have had in other years. And so you can see Saharan dust impacts the tropics by suppressing tropical storm formation through dry air, atmospheric stabilization, and increased wind shear. But it also contributes to the global nutrient cycle by fertilizing the oceans and supporting ecosystems like the Amazon rainforest. It's dust transported by the trade winds from Africa, and it creates hazy skies and beautiful sunsets. And so yeah, that's what we have been seeing here, and hopefully that helps to answer questions. Okay, so Harriet, Harriet, I'll get to you about the Outer Banks. Fred, you're asking about Boca. We were just talking about the storms, and just in case you didn't hear, as far as the storms go, it does look like the waters on the east coast of Florida will get churned up some from the tropics, but it does not look like we are going to have any kind of direct impact at this point on the east side of Florida. So the closest the storms get, this is the GFS, and you're watching the two L's for where the development is. And then the Euro shows one of the lows, the storm that hasn't developed yet, shows it a little bit closer on Monday the 29th, and then going into Tuesday the 30th. But this is also the time where, with our forecast, we start to see lower chances for rain here on the west side of the state. So I think the more likely scenario, or what the models are tending to see, is that it's going to more of the GFS than the Euro. The Euro is showing that that second storm would be closer to the east coast of Florida. Hopefully you're following me. All right, we've got to go to another break. All right, so break number 2. I think I'm getting these things a little better and on time. Cindy, hi from Venice. Okay, so the Outer Banks. As we're looking here, the one that we would be concerned about is not Umberto for the Outer Banks. If the Outer Banks were to have any impacts, it would be from the next storm that is likely to develop in 3 or 4 days. So that's that other low. And again, it doesn't look like either of these models is showing it coming even remotely close. So here we are at Monday. The storm is over the Bahamas. It may form into a tropical system around the beginning of next week, and then it combines with Umberto. This is the GFS. And now we do the Euro for the same time frame. It brings on Sunday, it brings it a little closer from going over the Bahamas, a little closer to the state of Florida, but still on offshore in the Atlantic. By Tuesday, it is then moving east, almost due east, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I would say that the Outer Banks, if this forecast holds and the forecast stays the way that it is looking right now, if what we see on these models continues, which this has been pretty consistent, if this continues, then we're not going to see a landfalling storm out of what's out there in the Atlantic right now or in the Caribbean right now. And these are more likely to take that turn, just like we've been seeing with the rest of the storms, like with Gabrielle and what Umberto is going to do. So I think we're in pretty good shape. If we're now back from the break and you are joining us, Now this is a good question I see. Madison is asking, do cruises going to the Bahamas need to worry? Worry, I think, is the wrong question, or might be the wrong word. You'll want to check with any cruises. I think that they could be impacted for sure in this case. If you are planning on going on a cruise next week to the Bahamas, yes, I would definitely check. There is more than likely going to be a change, or it's going to be a rocky, rainy, cloudy type of trip, depending on what the route is. But usually they reroute them. So I don't know that I would be overly concerned about it or worried that they would put you in danger, but I would definitely check with your cruise. Okay, let's scroll. Wow, we have a lot going on here. Renee is asking if something is developing in the Gulf. Right now, as of the next 10 days, so this is going all the way out. I don't like to look any farther out than 10 days because 10 days is pretty unreliable as far as these models go. There's always going to be a change 10 days out from what we're seeing. So, but at least 10 days out, there is nothing developing in the Gulf and nothing else developing in the Caribbean. What you see at 10 days on the Euro, oh, I should probably put this up. Whoop, you can't see it. Going back to our good friend, the Euro, which has been less reliable, but more dramatic. We see this in the Gulf. That is not necessarily a tropical system. If you see the millibars, that's 1,012. This over here, 976, that's a tropical system. So if you're watching how this is developing, that low is not becoming more intense, and you're not seeing it organized that's out in the Gulf. So I would not worry about that one. And as far as the Gulf, let's see if we see anything developing on this one during that time frame. We have a very similar area of low pressure with a very similar amount of pressure. So within the 10 days, I would say that no, we are not seeing anything developing in the Gulf in the next 10 days. So that answers that question, I hope. Okay, so let's see. Nyreken, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Nyrakan, I think you're being sarcastic here. You said, so a hurricane is coming to Florida. The answer to that is absolutely no. A hurricane is not coming to Florida, at least what we're seeing out there developing right now. And then, let's see, somebody is going on a cruise tomorrow to the Bahamas, Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, Saturday, Sunday, you may be it's going to be cloudy and wet, but it may not be so bad. I would just, honestly, when it comes to cruises in the Bahamas this time of year, or anywhere in the Caribbean, you've got to check ahead. That's the bottom line, is that you've got to check ahead. Oh, I've got one more break I need to do. Okay, so for those of you watching on TV, we're going to head to a break. For those of you on Facebook, I'll continue talking to you. All right, so that's our last break there. And let's see, more questions. Did Umberto form? Yes. Umberto formed at 5 o'clock today, and it is going to be remaining almost out over open water, very similar to Gabrielle, to answer that question if you didn't happen to get it before, Sean, and it is going to stay out. It may be a little closer to Bermuda or have more impacts on Bermuda. It's making more of an easterly path, westerly path than Gabrielle did, but otherwise, hi Jeff from Merritt Island as well, that's awesome. Let's see. And then again, Jen driving to DC this weekend and back next Friday, wondering about the chances along the East Coast. At this point, it is not looking like the east side of the state, of the US, is going to be an issue with any of the storms that are in the, I have the Saharan dust up right now, with any of the storms that are in the tropics right now. I can't emphasize it enough. None of these storms, I'm trying to get something up here. None of these storms that you're seeing here in the tropics right now are going to have an impact, are likely, I should say, to have an impact here on the west coast of Florida for sure, and even the east coast of Florida. I think the highest impacts that we're going to see are going to be maybe some outer rain bands at best. We will likely see some increased wave heights. So for those who like to surf along the east coast of the US, you may end up with some rougher surf, some bigger waves, and there's always that potential along with that you could get some coastal erosion. And so that would be the negative. Along the Caribbean islands, including Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, parts of Cuba, eastern side of Cuba, that area certainly is going to get the majority of the impacts of rain, whatever wind, but it is not looking all that significant. So this is looking more like a rain event due to this storm lingering and taking a little bit longer to form. Let's see. Yeah, Julie, we love the dust. Yes, the dust is definitely seeming to help a lot this season, and so dust is good. I do lots of ums with this. Sorry for that. I'll try to cut that out. Let's see. So we have until 58. Haley, you're asking if it can blow up by the Bahamas. It's a good question. Caribbean Gulf storms are more common, but because it is going to be impacting land, it's not likely to increase rapidly in intensity over the Bahamas because it is interacting with land. What you're seeing are all those little squiggles around the islands, and it is having a difficult time forming and having a difficult time taking a straight path. So that is where that storm it's going to have a hard time organizing. So I think in this case, it would be very unlikely that it is going to organize quickly. Trying to see, same thing if you were asking about Jersey, anything along the East Coast, it does not look like we have anything making landfall. Trying to get down here to the bottom to see what I might be missing before we run out of time. Do I like pumpkin spice? I do like pumpkin spice. Hi, Karina in Miami. The 8 p.m. advisory has not come. Oh, did it come out? That's a very good question. I was like, wait a minute. Did the 8 p.m. advisory come out? Yes, the 8 p.m. advisory has come out. We still just have Gabrielle and Umberto. Umberto is still a tropical storm with 40-mile-per-hour winds. The other system has not formed yet. It does have a slightly higher chance of development within the next 2 days, but more than likely it will be longer than that before it forms. Red, you had spaghetti tonight. How fitting. And Anna Maria, yes, Puerto Rico is very fragile. Okay, I think we are, let's see. I think we're out in like 10 seconds, 7 seconds. Somebody was asking about the new GFS. I don't know if I can get it in time, but I will try. Let's see. I think we were out. Oh wait, no, Facebook is still here, so you can see it on Facebook. Okay. Yeah, so it's showing the same thing. This one shows that that system maybe forms for a moment and then it just combines with Umberto. Right there, so it looks like Sunday into Monday. Maybe they'll give it a number or name on Saturday based on this, and then combines with Umberto and works its way out into the Atlantic. So there we go. Carissa and Shore Acres. Yes, we are clear for now. We are looking good. And yeah, we did get that hard out at 7:58, and I didn't officially say goodbye, but I think that's the way that it goes. All right, guys, time for me to head out and make some dinner for the family, I think, or maybe they've already eaten without me. I'm not 100% sure, but Denis will be back here at 11 o'clock, and he'll give you more on the latest on Tampa Bay 28. And I had a good time with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it too. I guess we'll call it